Welcome to the Sleeping Barber podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Barber's Brief. If you're new here, first off, welcome. Second, buckle up, because Mark and I use this time to dive into whatever shiny marketing things have caught our attention in the last couple of weeks. That means news that made us think, our marketing moment where we pretend to be wise, and of course, our personal favorite ad of the week, where we judge ads like it's our side gig. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Good morning.
I'm so pumped. Back from vacation, feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you have a good vacation?
Yeah, it was great. Colombia is really cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Cartagena is awesome. I love it. It kind of I went to Salvador in Brazil a long time ago.
Okay.
It reminded me of that kind of a vibe. It's really cool. It's a super cool place. Anyway, good food, good people. Yeah, really awesome.
That's awesome, man. Happy to hear.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, V. What do you got? What caught your eye?
The first thing that caught my eye is this title: Transparency, Compliancy, and Adaptability. Like, who can't get excited about that?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Wow.
Wait for it.
Okay.
The 3 pillars of a strong data practice.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
There it is. Yeah. Anyways, actually, in all fairness, this was a really interesting read. Woman by the name of Vera Gavin. I don't know if I got that right.
No,
but
I think you did
it. She's head of analytics at Apollo Partners, and she dives into how brands can use data to fuel creativity while building trust. Now, Arthi challenges the idea that data-driven marketing leads to rigid, formulaic results. Instead, she argues that when combined with human insight and strategic context, data can unlock more meaningful and innovative creative ideas. And the reason why this a little bit stuck out to me is because, again, I think we portray data as kind of being soulless at times, and it doesn't, depending on what you're really chasing, sometimes it can kind of be a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I like the way that it was repositioned here. So she actually cited an example, a CGB brand looking to connect with active millennials. By leveraging data, Apollo helped forge a unique partnership with Strava. And I think you and I are both users of Strava, and I think it's a great app.
Yeah.
Seamlessly integrating the brand into everyday lives of fitness-focused parents. Now, that campaign not only drove engagement, but also provided valuable first-party data, an increasingly critical asset as brands navigate those privacy regulations and evolving audience strategies. Oh, here we go again. God. Vera Gavin, maybe.
Arthi, let's call her.
Let's just call her
her.
Yeah. Also addresses common misconceptions, emphasizing that more data isn't always better. Yeah. I think we're always the first ones to say data is dumb, chase insights instead. What matters is focusing on the right data. And as AI continues to transform marketing, she highlights the growing need to address bias, transparency, and trust in data-driven decision-making. It's just a great reminder, really. Reason why I pulled this.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's interesting as you're reading through that. There's so many parallels to some of the other articles unplanned that I've been pulling up as well. I think the data part is really interesting. Like data, we have said that a lot. Data is dumb. It's the insights that matter. But I also think you can pull insights from anything. It's a matter of knowing what data to look at. And I don't know that AI is good at that part yet. And I think that's where the practitioner really needs to have
I agree.
Confidence or like a sense of direction of what they're looking for, because you can find anything.
Oh, man, yes. What'd you find?
Well, related to that, on that note, VCs, there's a new marketing out, V. I'm chuckling at this.
Okay,
ready?
I'm ready.
It's called vibe marketing.
A what?
Yeah, there's new marketing and old marketing. It's like new math and old math.
Okay.
So vibe marketing, that's the new term. It's gaining traction among startup founders, marketers, investors. They're calling it a paradigm shift.
Oh boy.
To a degree, I understand what the point of this is. There's a thing in like I would say on the engineering side, on programming engineering, where vibe coding turned 8-week development sprints into 2-day sprints.
Okay.
So they're taking some of the same principles from that. So I would imagine like the idea of like the sprint framework is sort of what's happening here. Like development sprints, have been adopted, like Kanban and all those kinds of things. Now you've got
Agile.
Vibe. Yeah, Agile. Vibe is now being applied to marketing. And the reason for that is that it takes the idea that like the AI is accessible. Automation tools are all out there. There's a collapse of custom software costs. You can essentially take this single AI enhanced marketer and replace a team of 10 or more. So you can get rid of the copywriters, rid of the designers, rid of the data analysts, rid of the media buyers, and just have one person who's like an augmented employee running the entire marketing department.
Okay. Okay.
So there's that as an idea. And I think what's valuable in that idea is that marketing teams are hybrid. They're becoming more hybrid. There's humans steering strategy and creativity, and AI is handling some execution, optimization. Like that is happening. And so I agree with it to that point. And they talk about like running dozens of micro campaigns as a strategy, using a founder-led approach, and then just running dozens of campaigns, small fractional campaigns at any single time is like a test and learn kind of thing. So the one thought that came to mind as I read that was there's a quote from Dave Trott that shit that arrives at the speed of light is still shit.
Yeah.
And so to like link up to what you were just saying earlier, I think there's like, I know there's a pressure to use AI and there's like this, AI can solve all problems, but my wife was using it on the weekend. Because there's Google search. And she was like, it's weird. It sends all this wrong information. Like, yeah.
Well, actually, on that, I don't know if you heard, but the Google, my gosh, what was it called? The Google Assistant is no longer. It's being phased out in favor of Gemini. And there's a few people, like there are a lot of individuals that are saying it's actually the Gemini is worse than the Google Assistant was because the Google Assistant needed less information to do what you needed it to do. And it's just, again, all these LLMs are going to have to go through a training period. Of course they'll get better, but well, first of all, you got me with vibe marketing.
Right.
So I'm like, well, okay. That's interesting. But I see what you're saying here. Like using AI as a complete replacement, I think could be very dangerous. Even though there's more quote unquote efficiency or speed to market or things like that, I think you got to be very, very cautious on how you choose to do that. But I do see a lot more integration from a day-to-day perspective. You are seeing these tools being used a lot more. I don't know. Many of us use various like what's it called? Meeting platforms, GChat or Google Meet, Zoom, etc. And there's a lot of those note takers, which have been a godsend, to be honest with you. I love those features, but seeing it as a way to replace marketing teams, I mean, okay. I don't know if I'm following
I think if
vibe.
You want that, you could have that. I'm not sure that it's going to be the best result. I still think the discipline of marketing needs to be understood. If you don't know anything about marketing, and you just trust that Google knows all the right things, or whatever the channel is,
It's a tough one to swallow. That's a fair point. Okay. I had my next one was the next wave of search, AI mode, deep research, and beyond. So gonna just kind of paint a little picture here for you. Okay. So AI is redefining search. And I think we've talked about it numerous times. I think there's
we just talked about it.
We literally just talked about it. Yeah. Now, with advancements with AI-driven search models, we're moving beyond traditional queries to interactive research-driven experiences. Now, Google's AI mode, deep research models, and agentic AI are changing how users find information, bringing new challenges and opportunities for SEO, content strategy, and by extension, then digital marketing. So this article that I found in Search Engine Land, which is always my go-to, I just love going there. They always have great stuff. The key takeaways when you're thinking about repositioning yourself in this AI world, where basically these AI engines are combing the web for, real-time information. AI-driven search is evolving from simple information retrieval to delivering direct answers. So when you think about that, we always used to have to create a lot of this content to help with the research phases. Now people are bypassing that. It's like, I just want the answer, or how do you reduce that, I guess that total, I don't want to call it research phase, but they're looking for immediate answers more than anything. So that's reshaping SEO, content discovery, and then by extension, again, like I said, digital marketing. Now, Google's new AI mode powered by Gemini 2.0 introduces a chat-like search experience and deep research capabilities. Agentic AI models and deep research models enhance multi-step research, providing detailed insights while reducing reliance on traditional websites. The rise of zero-click searches and multimodal search, so that's text, voice, image, requires marketers to rethink content strategies. And then finally, commercial and transactional searches still offer website traffic opportunities, but content quality remains critical in AI-driven search ranking. So again, what's next? AI-powered search will continue to be prioritizing speed, personalization, efficiency, pushing businesses to adapt their content and visibility strategies. It's a new world, man. Wild, wild west all over again.
Totally. I've talked about this with clients a lot, and I wonder what you think about what is the role of SEO as we, 5 years ago, like that version of SEO that we had 5 years ago. It's very different today. But what do you like? What is?
It is very different now.
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes back to if you remember, there used to be this whole notion that you need to make sure that you're backlinking a lot of your if you can get backlinks to any pages on your web page, it just actually helped with organic rankings. I think right now you're going to see a shift away from that. While that may still be important, it's how are you able to answer specific queries or questions that go into these AI engines, whichever one does it best will likely get that organic ranking better than you have in the past. So I think it's a race to understanding intent once more. But then thinking about how that's like used to use like keyword planner. And like now it's taking long tail to a whole other thing. And I think you and I also had this conversation around like voice. Voice is going to have its moment now. Yeah. Even though we were told like back in 2017 and 2013, that's like voice is the next, frontier. No, voice is the next frontier today. Like, this evolution now, which will just put a whole different lens on how do we capture that intent, because it's not going to be I'm not going to say it's not going to be the same, but the tools that we have are going to evolve very quickly as well.
Yeah, the multimodal search is an interesting one because you can see it's almost like omni-channel retail.
Totally. Yeah.
So in a way, if you think about mental and physical availability, it's a play on physical availability to make your product available in all these different formats of search, because it's no longer just about keyword rankings or, that's not exactly how SEO worked ever, but it's oversimplification of it. But yeah, being present and available in all these different formats is really interesting. The weird part is like, I don't know how it works. You know what I mean? Like, it used to, like, it's always been a black box with search SEO, but now it's even more complicated, I would say.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you have?
I got one here for you, V. The CEO study on the CMO. So there's this for the fourth year in a row, Boathouse has surveyed 150 CEOs of it just says of top U.S. companies about their perspectives on the CMOs of their companies. And so there's a couple of things that on the plus side and on the negative side, and then 3 recommendations that I thought are worth interesting. So on the plus side, there's a huge increase in CEOs recognition as their CMOs being best in class. So it went from, in 2021, it went from 21% of the CEOs who surveyed agreed that their CMOs are best in class to this year, pretty much doubled. So 45%.
Ooh, that's it. That's a win.
Yeah. Half of the CEOs report on having great confidence in their CMO, which is up 30% from last year.
Okay.
So that's promising.
Okay. That's good.
I don't know what would cause a spike like from 1 year. That's not a lot of time, but anyway, it's a positive. It's a positive improvement. 3/4 of the CEOs now recognize their CMO's commitment to the organization over their own self-interest, which is up from 44% 4 years ago.
Man, congrats to all the CMOs out there, the movers and shakers.
Right.
That's some great stuff.
On the downside, there's the number of CEOs who said that the CMO's ability to drive company growth dropped to 19% from 31% last year.
Like they were just best in class.
I know. That's why I'm.
What?
I know. It's I don't know enough about this study to know exactly how people come to these conclusions. There's another metric question ranking that dropped. The ability to translate company goals to marketing goals fell to 24%, up from a 35% last year.
Okay.
And then having a relationship and having trust with the C-suite decreased to 27%.
Oh my goodness.
So it is a bit weird because they seem to be almost competing metrics.
Yeah.
But there's 3 recommendations that I thought were interesting. So bridging the gap, focus relentlessly on demonstrating marketing's contribution to business growth through metrics that matter to CEOs. That part I think is interesting because metrics matter, obviously, and you're incentivized to buy the metrics. Having understanding what the CEO's critical metrics are is really good in aligning the marketing department to that. I'll get to this second one in a second, but I want to talk about the translating financial goals to marketing impact.
Yes.
So addressing the concern with CEOs who doubt the CMO's understanding of financial fundamentals is really important. So there's a concern for CEOs that their CMOs don't understand financial fundamentals well enough. And I think we've had a whole bunch of conversations. We've been interviewed people on the show a few times about that. I think it's a good idea in general.
100%.
Yeah, to talk to the CFO every now and then. Or if you're not even the C-suite, just like go talk to someone in accounting, go talk to someone in finance.
Totally.
Have an understanding of what they're doing. One of my clients, I recently had this epiphany. I had no idea what COGS really meant before. Wow. I just got a kick in the face from COGS. It's really important to understand these things because it really changes the perception of, especially when you're running and managing a business.
Yeah.
And so the other one would be accelerating AI adoption. One of the comments from the CEOs is that the CMOs are falling behind on their AI adoption in comparison to other departments like customer service and customer experience. So there's some things there that I think are important. But fundamentally, I believe like aligning metrics to the CMO and talking to the CFO are really critical for building the relationships that we're talking about and further improving marketing's contribution to the business.
There was this, I don't know if it was a meme that kind of made its way around the internet for marketing perspective. And I think it went to this, something to the effect of like the C-suite only cares about one thing, revenue, right? And I think when you're trying to simplify it and say like, what does marketing need to do? It needs to help grow, or what was the line that, and it's one of our guests used, like flat is the new up.
Oh yeah.
So just be really close and tuned with the business will likely go a long way. But I agree with that. The accelerate AI adoption, I mean, I don't know if I'm that bullish on that as being like a differentiator or something that you need to be doing. But I think just getting more comfortable how it can help you in the discipline. I think that's, you can look at it, but bridge the growth gap is number one. Translate financial goals into marketing impact. I think those two are like the two big ones that you should be taking away.
Yeah. So with that, V, let's move into the marketing moment.
That's right. Ready for a thought-provoking stunt?
I sure am.
That drives change within media industry.
Oh boy, am I ever.
Oh boy. In 2025, so this is recent. The Epitaph Group, collaborating with creative agency Rethink, there's Rethink again, launched Garbage Media, a provocative stunt aimed at highlighting inefficiencies in media buying. The initiative involved placing advertisements in undesirable locations, such as mini digital out-of-home billboard situated in an alleyway near Samfonka Square, formerly Yonge and Dundas, and then successfully selling these placements to real media agencies representing brands in quick service restaurant, tourism, and consumer packaged goods sectors. So here's the background. The company was motivated by a concerning industry statistic that brands spend on average $72 billion annually on media, yet 41% of that expenditure is wasted due to the inadequate oversight and then reliance on automated impression-focused strategies. I think we're the first ones to say not all impressions are created equal. I think this rings true in this example as well.
Sure.
So the Epitaph Group aimed to underscore the loss of the respect for the art of media planning and the pitfalls of prioritizing quantity over quality in ad placements. So Some of the key learnings coming out of this is the importance of thoughtful media planning. The stunt demonstrated that an overemphasis on impressions could lead to inefficient use of media budgets. Careful consideration of ad placement quality is crucial to ensure that marketing efforts resonate with target audiences. Number 2, need for the industry reflection. Now, by exposing the ease with suboptimal ad spaces were sold to reputable agencies, garbage media prompted professionals to reevaluate current practices and advocate for more strategic, quality-focused approaches. And I know this may sound like, yeah, obviously, but how were they able to fool these media agencies into buying this? So obviously something is broken somewhere where there's not enough of that discipline. Instead of, trying to pump out a media plan, get it in front of the client, to actually be really thoughtful with it. The third learning was power of experiential marketing. Now, the campaign itself served as a meta commentary on the effectiveness of experiential marketing tactics, illustrating how bold, unconventional methods can generate significant industry discourse and drive change. Now, there's a few things that I wanted to highlight. I had 6 things that, what we could be doing differently. I'll just take a few of them. I think it goes without saying you need to be prioritizing quality over quantity. You need to be implementing stricter media buying oversight or, quality control. Make sure that you have that your media plans are being peer reviewed, things to that effect. Demand transparency, especially in programmatic advertising. That's huge.
A big one.
And programmatic is usually the big one that always gets poo-pooed on when it comes to things like, where's the ads actually being surfaced and shown. Make sure you're leveraging contextual targeting and intent-based media planning. I think it goes without saying, the basis of a lot of our advertising should be around intent. Where's intent being shown? Reevaluate agency and vendor relationships. And again, I think this is more of from a peer review perspective. Make sure that you are working with reputable agencies that can steer you to the right inventory. And then finally, just conduct experiments to test ad effectiveness. Test and learn. It's got to be in the back of your mind as much as possible.
Yeah, and just on that note, it's an interesting thing. You've talked about this when we were working together a long time ago. I remember you were constantly looking into different platforms of where the placements were for Google display ads. And that's part of that transparency you're talking about. When you see that list, it's not just Google. I know this is obvious to a lot of people, but there's so many things that are you don't know where these things are going. And so then you have MFAs and a whole bunch of those kinds of things. So no wonder you end up buying stuff on literally a dumpster, garbage dumpster.
Totally.
And so that's part of, I think, what you're talking about with the transparency, and especially programmatic, intent-based and contextual targeting. All those kinds of things matter. But also, when you think about the results that you're getting from a campaign, just because it didn't, quote unquote, didn't work, doesn't necessarily mean it was the wrong creative or whatever. It could be that you just didn't have the right media. You wasted a whole bunch of media. Google reports on non-viewable impressions, which I think is the biggest oxymoron ever. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Mark, honestly. And I think as an industry, sometimes there's an over-reliance or a justification. But look at all the impressions that we drove. There's nothing wrong with the media. It's well, maybe there is, though.
Yeah.
Right? And just having that critical thought process and really understanding, I think, goes a long way. So,
yeah. Well, and to something else just popped in my mind. I can't remember if it might have been Nicole Hartnett way back when. Yeah. It said if you have the choice, you asked her if we had the choice of reaching one house twice or 2 houses. Oh, what is going on here? Gestures on and I just did a little peace finger, and then I got balloons popping up. If you had two houses and you could reach them each once, it's an obvious choice to just reach each house. So I think that's important too in the planning process of media planning, because if you're over delivering on garbage media to a group of people that aren't actually there, you're really hurting yourself by focusing on impressions.
I agree. Ad of the week.
Okay, I have one quickly from Oatly.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we were just watching this beforehand, but we'll put this in the screen or in the notes. I'm just gonna play it right now, real quick for you, V.
Sure.
So you can see this. Are you ready?
Do it.
You ready?
Hi, would you like some fancy coffee? For our pairings, we have glazed donuts. We also have glazed donuts and glazed donuts. Have a wonderful day.
It's
Experiential.
interesting. I think it's experiential. They turn experiential into an ad, so now experiential gets amplified across all the media. It's in the parking lot where people are. You know what I mean? They're going into the place where you can buy the product. Right at the moment of truth. Like, there's so many things about that I think are fun, and it's kind of like, because it's fun, you're kind of going, I can make my coffee fancy, and so bit of a splurge. I just, there's so many good things about that ad, and it's well crafted.
Good old. Do you remember we used to call it good old below the line marketing? Below the line that went above the line, I guess, is the better way of putting it. But those old like street teams that would just do a lot of these experiential. I like that they've kind of put a spin on it and turned it into ad. But that is really good. That is really good.
Okay, and with that, V, we have
coming up next week.
Yeah. Who?
Mary Kyriakidou.
Oh, I love
she's back. She's back.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Yeah. So we talked about, obviously she has a great series of articles, CMO series, pricing, CFO endorsement, growth strategies, profit and budget conversations. And we got into it and talked a few of those topics with her. And it's a really great episode. I think there's a lot of takeaways for practitioners.
Totally. Yeah. We're looking forward to having that one live. Yeah. Okay, V.
With that,
I'm going to go take my kids to school because they need to profit from their education. How about that?
I like that. I'm just gonna go pour myself a bowl of profitability. Before I start the day. I really need that kick in the teeth.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna get going. So, something like that.
Yeah, I like it. Enjoy the game.
Well, anyway, nice to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for. It's good to be back.
Thanks for everyone.
Thanks for listening.
That's right. Yeah, thanks for keeping us in your ears. There you go.
All right.
Fantastic.
Take it easy.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.